Welcome to the Night Watch podcast, everybody. We got part 2 with Alex. Cheers up.
Cheers, brother.
Welcome
Thanks
back,
for having
bro.
me. Appreciate you.
We're talking about, this is a platform where real men talk about real life shit, struggles, shit that bothers them, shit that they go through every day, and the legacy that we're going to leave behind for our kids, our family members, and our friends. So with that being said, Alex, welcome to the fucking show, bro.
Thank you, man. So we had the opportunity to get 12 different categories and 12 different topics from men that either DM'd or hollered at us on the street or came through email. And so we have 12 topics that we're gonna get into today that I think we're gonna dive deep into: business, influence, vulnerability, how men should be acting today and right now. So let's get it.
Let's go, man. And hey, when I go to the gym, people talk. They're like, hey, I like what you're saying. But those are man-to-man conversation. And we need more of that. And we got that shit out here. So open format for everybody. Hope you guys like it and can relate.
All right, so like I said, we got those 12 topics. The first topic today is collateral damage. This came in, this was awesome because it resonated well with me. What are your thoughts on it?
Shit, when you crash out, you're not just hurting yourself. When you lose your shit, you lose your temper, and you go off the deep end, you hurt everybody around you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that is affected, not just you. You think it's just you, but it affects everybody, bro. Your friends, your family, your kids, anybody that's around your circle is gonna be affected by it. So you gotta be mindful of that shit.
And I've been that guy. I've been reckless with choices, thinking it only hurt me, but the fallout could have affected your family, could have affected your friends. The collateral damage is real. Growth begins when you sit in the wreckage and you own it.
You gotta own it, but you need people around you that can hold you accountable that know you, that know how you really are. Cause we too deep in it, we don't realize how fucked up we are at the moment, you know?
And that's important because we're gonna be talking about accountability. That's another one of the questions that came in is accountability, but the next one is validation versus connection. Validation versus connection.
The difference between validation and connection is some people want people to feel sorry for them, you know what I'm saying? And, oh, you did good. Thank you for helping. Thank you for looking out for, bro, you don't need none of that shit when you're a man that you're really checking for other people, you know what I'm saying? And that's the difference that people miss all the fucking time.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree. So I think validation is something where you're chasing likes, where you're chasing validation from either women, when you're chasing validation from the people that are around you. But actual connection, right? When you stop chasing validation and you start building deep connections with either men or other people, it's real. People see who you really are, and that's where the strength actually comes from. You agree?
I definitely agree, Alex. You know who's being real and who's being fake.
Right.
You can't fake energy, bro.
You can't fake, you can't fake energy.
Vibration.
Right.
You can't.
Frequency.
Right? There's a lot of people that come in and say, yeah, wow, you doing great and all that, but it's so fake. It's so vague. What do you call that? Vague? What is this bullshit?
I don't know.
It's not strong. When somebody comes, it's vague. Vague?
Vague.
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 Say it again?
Vague.
You ain't gotta make that face. But
it's the way to pronounce it.
Nah.
We gotta lower it a little bit and start over on the last one. The third topic that came in was carrying the weight, men carrying the weight that you carry.
A lot of men carry weight, and it's something that nobody talks about, Alex. I had a conversation today at the gym with my old friend, and we related in so many different things, but we never talked. And he's like, it feels good to talk, bro. I used to come to the gym and just to work out and release, but it's so much more than that. It's a little conversation with another person in there, another man in there that's going through the same struggle. Because you don't have to carry everything by yourself. Because there's other men like us out there that need to hear it, bro. They got to see you at the gym.
Right.
They got to talk to you wherever they run into you, bro. And those are the little moments that you take to open up and let it out, bro.
And I think that's what's important about transparency, right? When you're transparent and you're vulnerable with other men, people that you're talking to or engaging with, when you're vulnerable and you're honest with what you're going through, they feel comfortable. For years, I was going through a men's group for 7 years, and all we would do is go in there and talk bullshit. One day I went in there and got pissed off because it was here we are 7 years, wasting our time, talking about, we were doing Bible study and all this stuff, but nobody was there trying to get healed. Nobody was there trying to get deep, but nobody was actually sharing what was in their heart or in their soul. Everybody was pretending to walk a different life. Right. The men are not supposed to share their feelings, but that's bullshit. You got to share your feelings. That you were meant to walk by two, and men should be sharing and being accountable to each other so we can rise up, right? Rise up, kings. You can do this.
Because sometimes we need to hear it, bro. Sometimes we don't know, like I said earlier, you don't know how deep in your thoughts you are until somebody like you points it out.
Right.
And when somebody like you that went through it, they'll see it right away. But some people don't say nothing.
Sure.
But people don't say nothing because we're not supposed to. Fuck that. We're supposed to tell our boy, our brother, like, hey, I feel that, bro. And the way to get out is to let it out. Talk to me.
And beyond that, you can also read through the bullshit, right? When you've been through something and somebody's feeding you the manipulation or the lies, you know how to move forward from it. So thanks so much for sending in that question. That was a great one. Carrying the weight is difficult, but you don't have to carry it alone.
You're not alone and you're not by yourself, ever.
Topic number 4, advice versus accountability. Thank you guys for sending in this one because that's a good question. What's the difference between the two?
Easy, but the hardest thing to identify, right? When somebody advises you to do, hey, you should do this, you should go ahead, try this workout, oh, talk to this person, read this book, and then never check up on you, that's just advice. Accountability is holding that person accountable next time you see them, or 2 hours later, 5 hours later, hey bro, did you really do that shit? They're gonna be like, oh shit, I didn't. Well, get on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'll check back on you in a little bit. Hold them accountable for the things that are really gonna help them. Because God can give you advice all day.
Exactly.
I don't want advice from no fucking body. Hold me accountable, me too.
Right. For
that's the only way I'm gonna grow, bro.
Exactly.
And if you really care about that person you're talking to, you're gonna hold them accountable.
That's where you nailed it. That's when you find out who actually cares about you. The men that are actually checking up on you and following you and not enabling your behaviors. The men that are actually holding you accountable for you to be the person that you want to be, the man of integrity, a man that wants to walk a different walk, a man that wants to start a business or do anything. This person is holding you accountable. That's the difference between advice and accountability. Great question. Thanks for
some people, Alex, some people take that shit the wrong way.
They do because they're not ready. Because
all they want is advice and they want to go back in their hole. And those people don't really fuck
and that's
with you,
justification, right? They're justifying their own behavior. So I'm going to give you a quick, real story about a situation I was in actually last night. So this guy comes into, I do like facilitate all these different rehab groups and all this. And the guy came in, he was obviously drunk when he came into the event. And the fact that he could not, no, it's fine because he shouldn't, we're drinking. Which is funny because that was the argument. So the argument was there was a person in there who could never drink again because they were obviously an alcoholic. It was affecting their health. It was affecting their family. It was changing their lives. But for other people, it doesn't, right? You and I can function in society. We can socially drink and do that. But his argument was, well, I don't need to stop drinking or whatever. He was justifying the fact that, well, you can probably drink. And he's like, no, I can't. Like, I realize I can't. You don't have to drink. You can drink around me. I'm fine with it. But the guy was getting upset because he was justifying his alcoholism, right? He didn't realize he had a problem. But it's not just alcohol
though, bro. It can be anything.
It's beyond the alcohol.
People's giving you advice on something that they don't even do. Stop giving me advice on something that you don't do. It's the same thing. You're in denial because I would tell them, but you're not doing half of the shit you're telling me.
Right.
So right now, you're just giving me advice, but you're not really taking your own advice. So that's something I have against people that don't give me advice if you ain't doing the same thing.
Right, if you're not walking the walk, there's no point in you moving forward. Great question. All right, the next topic that came in, it could be a little complex, but let's say success versus significance.
That's a tough one. And significant, right? No, I'm not gonna do it. Significant, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm being retarded, but whatever it is, right? But that's a good question. Being successful is not just making money, buying all the shit that you want. Yeah, that's all good right? But success is when you help those around you to win. Make them level the fuck up. I don't want to say that, but I did, right? Because it's really important in my circle. I'd rather help my peoples win and grow to have their own stuff. I don't want to give them money because it's gonna go and then right back into the loophole, right? So success for me is helping those around me create business for their own, for their family, for their kids, whoever. And what was significant?
What's significance?
That's what significant is, right?
Right, that's what you get out of it.
That's what you get out of it. Giving them a platform so they can always win and be their own boss. Not just give them material things, because that shit goes, bro.
And so my aspect from it as well is success, right? We all personally, I went through the same thing, right? I had an amazing time building my business, and there was a time during COVID where I made tons of money, right? When you grow up a certain way, you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna just go and buy and I'm gonna collect all these different items. And that's fine, right? We deserve it.
Well, you did good. You did good with your business.
You can't take it with you though.
The OnlyFans, right? You did the OnlyFans.
Yeah,
everybody.
The OnlyFans feet
foot page, whatever the fuck. You did good.
And it did really well, and then it didn't do well because people had nicer feet than
yeah,
I did.
exactly.
But the actual significance of it was none of it mattered, right? The material things didn't matter. Once I started serving other people's and started being less selfish, that's where the significance in my life actually came, right? It was like, where is it? What's the purpose?
It means more.
It means more, and you take more out of it, and it lasts longer, right? Those quick moments of a purchase or anything that comes in fast.
It goes
quick. As fast as it comes in, the same way it goes out.
This is material.
But serving and significance in the things that you're doing last forever. Next topic.
Great fucking question.
Topic number 6 that came in is ego versus humility.
Bro, this is like a game show. Your voice is really like the Price is Right.
I have a voice for television.
Like Bob
or
from
what
the
is
Price
this, radio?
Right. Ego versus humility, right? Egos builds walls, right? Egos. Let's start over, bro. Ego builds walls. Humility builds bridges.
Exactly.
That's deep, bro.
That is deep.
Who wrote that shit? Whoever wrote, hey, chat, we thank you for that. Thank you, chat. But it's true. Ego, it puts up a front and a toughness on people because they're hiding, bro. You know, I never had an ego in anything, bro. And that made me humble to a lot of shit. And I live life like that, right? So when you put out that front, that's all fake shit, bro.
Especially in your industry, like
bro,
having an ego in what you do.
They
right?
do though.
I know
they
do, right?
But to a certain
you pump
point.
yourself up, right? That's pumping yourself up. Pride is probably the biggest sin you could have. And then ego, right? Ego is not your amigo. Have you heard that? And that's super smart, right? Like,
yeah, but it makes sense. But being humble, my uncle once told me, be humble is gonna take you farther than anything. Be respectful, but always be humble to people. And I even tatted that on my neck.
Up to humble.
Because you gotta be humble, bro. When you humble, you open yourself up to learning other things that people can teach you. When you have an ego, you don't want to learn shit. And that block you from everything. But it's the hardest thing to understand as a person. You don't gotta be like that, bro. I'd rather learn from you so I can grow. If you're doing something good, I want to learn from you, bro. Even if you're not even above me or any stage in life, you're gonna teach me something that I need to hear. And that's just dropping the ego. You know
and
what
I think that's true humility, because ego isolates humility and it multiplies, right? Ego isolates and humility multiplies. And what we have to understand is when we're living with that heart of humility, we're open to learning from others. But that ego holds us, right? It keeps us isolated. Like, I'm too egotistical or prideful to ask anybody for help. But let's talk business, because we're gonna get into some business topics.
Of course.
When you're building a business or you're trying to launch yourself somewhere else, you're not asking anyone that's already been successful or even anyone that's already failed any information. It's prideful because you're gonna just drop the ball. You might lose out when you have all these resources in front of you out of pride to not go out there and do it. And I think that was a great topic. Thank you so much for sending that one in.
That's a great question. Great question. So with all that shit that we had to talk about and the message, let's leave it at this. Starve the distractions. Is that right?
Starve your distractions, feed your discipline.
When I broke up with my ex-girl, it's not even my girlfriend, whatever situation that was, no disrespect to her, right? Every time I thought about her, I told myself, nope, I'm not doing that. And I starved that, because I read, you gotta starve whatever bad, not even bad, whatever negative, whatever distraction it is, you starve it. And the way you starve it is by saying, no, I'm not thinking about that. Every time I thought about her, and it was a lie, because I just ended that shit, right? And I was like, no, I'm not thinking about that. So I starved it to the point that I wasn't even thinking about that shit. And I do that shit with other things that don't apply to my life. If it doesn't apply to me, I'm gonna starve that shit to the point that it's gone. And I feed, what was the shit?
Feed your discipline.
And I feed the discipline. Well, you gotta laugh all the time.
Because it was God laughing and just in funny.
Fuck, man. So I feed everything that's positive, starve the negative and feed the positive. And we're gonna end it just like that. You got anything else to say, smiley face?
No, that's a spin. Awesome. Exactly. I love the fact that you sent that to me the other day because he checked in on me. Talk about accountability. My brother texts me and he's like, hey, you've been quiet. I just want to holler at you, make sure you're okay. And he goes, whatever you're going through, starve the distractions and feed the discipline. And that held tight to me. It was like, damn, this guy's really.
Because I felt that you was, I don't know what the fuck you was doing, but I felt like, yo, you needed to hear that.
I did.
Because I tell myself that shit every day because I want to, where I'm going is, it's on nothing but positive. So I think about this shit every day. I got to starve this shit. I got to starve it to the point that it's no longer fed and dies out, right? You don't water the plant that's negative, let it die out. Water the plant that's positive.
Water the plant that's
positive. And I haven't seen you. And when I saw you, you look a little off. I don't know why you was off, but I felt like you needed to hear that shit.
And I appreciate that. And that's what's true accountability and true friendship, that people are holding you accountable for the things that you got to do. But more importantly, like today we touched on 12 amazing topics that everybody sent in. I want you guys to really think about all of those. Maybe send in your questions, right? You sent those topics in, but now start resonating with the information that we gave you about it. And what are your thoughts on it? Comment whenever we post the reels or do anything that you need.
Hold us accountable.
Hold us accountable, right?
When you,
like,
if
what are you
you
doing?
See me posting the wrong shit, I'm not gonna post the wrong shit. But if you see me talk about something, hold me accountable on the old shit. Hold me accountable on what I'm saying.
You know what I've been seeing a lot lately is guys putting really girly stuff on.
Bro, I hate that shit.
Right? Like,
there's a guy, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. There's a guy on Instagram that got a lot of following, right? All he talks about is to uplift women. But you shit on men. And your fucking ass is a man. So who the fuck are you helping?
Is it our
women? He just doing, no, he's doing it because women want to hear that shit and they're gonna repost that shit. But you're not even lifting your own race. Not the race, what do you call that? Your own genes. You're not even lifting the real men that need to hear it. You talking to all the women when you don't even have, you probably got a vagina, to be honest with you, bro. I'm sick of seeing this shit. And you got all these women reposting him and all that. He's doing it for clout. That's not helping nobody, bro. And I'm gonna tag this motherfucker on it because I really don't give a fuck.